Well, the Adobe engineers have really packed a whole lot of really useful tools into Photoshop CS2. One of these is a brand new filter that will help us with pictures like this. Taken with a wide angle lens, tilted up, you can see lots of distortion and lots of perspective correction needed. If we go to filter and down to distort and then across to the new lens correction filter, you will see a brand new dialog which allows us to correct just these sorts of problems. Let's have a quick look at the dialog before we go into the corrections. Over here we have a bunch of new tools, including a remove distortion tool that interactively works with the image on screen. We also have a straighten tool to allow you to straighten horizon lines and things like that. Move grid tool that allows you to move the grid that you can see on screen in the preview box, and our standard hand tool and zoom tool as well. Over here we have a bunch of slider controls, all of them designed to help you with just this sort of problem. So let's see how you would actually go about correcting both the barrel distortion in this image as well as the perspective or steepen perspective problem that you can see as well. The first thing I would do is start to play with adjusting this remove distortion slider. Some people prefer to work directly in the preview itself by moving the cursor backwards and forwards, or you can actually work with the sliders. So what I'm trying to do is to get these edges to be straight rather than bulging out. So we'll get them reasonably set up. Now we've got to try and, before we go any further, try and correct some of this perspective that you can see happening because the camera was tilted when the picture was taken. We use this new transform slider down the bottom here, and notice as I move it to the left, it's actually transforming the image and bringing those verticals back up to the way that they're meant to be. This is where the grid lines actually come in very handy, and you can see if you can align these columns with those grid lines, you will be pretty much guaranteed that this is correctly corrected and the perspective altered just the way that you want it. Go back and adjust your barrel distortion again if you need to. Be careful not to overcorrect. If you go too far, it will look just as strange as not enough. And that's looking terrific. You also see that we've got an option for adjusting vignetting as well. Sometimes wide angle lenses darken or lighten around the edges of the image, and so you can adjust that here as well. And also you've got choices about how to handle the extra edges that you can see here as well. Here I've got it set to transparency, but you could extend the edge, which it uses parts of the image just to extend that, or you could use background color and it will throw in the background color. Either way is fine. I'm going to leave it on transparency. Click OK, and there it is back in Photoshop. And now we can grab the crop tool, come in and use that crop tool to crop it down to what we want it. You can choose to use the clone tools to actually work on these edges if you wish and build up some more detail. Let's just look at what it was like beforehand, before we made the changes, and then after we made the changes. So you can see quite a big change there in terms of correcting that image. So you'll find it under the Distort menu, under Filters, the new Lens Correction filter.